there, I'm Michelle from Crafters Countdown, and we are continuing with our rock painting series, and we are in the month of December, and I told you last month that I had a special surprise for you, so I am going to use my computer and video calling, and I'm going to call someone really special, so give me just a second here. Jessica Kringle, it's Michelle from Crafters Countdown. How are you doing today?
Oh, hello, Michelle. I'm doing splendid. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Wow, what are you working on?
I got the package you sent me. Thank you so much. I absolutely love the Christmas rock that you sent. Is really amazing. What fun you did on that video. And I was just finishing up putting the Mod Podge on the quilt rocks that you sent. Thank you so much. I know I need to get them back to you before your next quilt rock exchange.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. I know that little Catalina will be super excited to know that Mrs. Claus painted on her rocks.
It was a lot of fun. You know that Advent calendars are one of my favorite things. So on the rock that had the snow globes, I painted an Advent calendar inside one of the snow globes. Isn't that fun? And then on the other rock, someone had already painted a Santa Claus, and I thought it would be fun to paint me on the other side. So I'll be getting these in the mail to you soon so that you've got them back.
That is so awesome. What's that gray thing?
Oh, when I was rock hunting down by the North Pole River, I saw this square. It's a piece of cement. It's not a block, but it was just among the other rocks, and I thought it would be super fun to use that spackle technique that you taught us to make it smoother, and that this would make a really lovely little Christmas package when I'm done painting it. And this part right here can be one of the ribbons. Won't that be fun?
Oh, that'll look great. I can't wait to see it. What else are you working on?
Oh, next I was going to work on rubber stamping some Christmas rocks.
Oh, wow. Will you show us how to do that, please?
Well, of course, I'd love to show you. It's really very simple, and I like to say that rubber stamps are for the artistically challenged, and I think that I fall into that category. So there are a lot of different Christmas stamps that you can find, and one of the easier ones to work with acrylic paints are these foamy stamps. And they have large ones and they have little ones, and I've already prepared some rocks just like you taught us in the first one that you did for Mother's Day, and so I was going to go ahead and stamp these on here. So the first thing that you can do, there are different techniques for being able to get the acrylic paint onto your stamps. When you've got a really large one like this, one of the easier things to do is simply paint it on. And so I'm going to use a small brush, and when it's large like this also you can certainly use different colors on here so that it's not like a stamp pad where you know, everything's all one color because you dip it in the stamp pad, but I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. And you want to apply your paint a little bit on the thicker side because it's got to transfer onto the rock when you're painting. Now, of course, you can use these with paper and other items as well. I've made some placemats with this, with the acrylic paint. That's always fun. All right, so I've got his body painted. And then I will paint his little face. This is fun. I love snowmen. We get to make lots and lots of those up here at the North Pole. Okay. And then I will clean off my brush so that I can just use the same brush to switch colors. And I'm going to paint his hat black. So just a little bit of this on here. You know, you need to work a little bit quickly so that the paint doesn't dry, but doesn't dry too fast, so it's not an emergency. And then, oops, that black sure does get the paintbrush yucky. And then I wanted his scarf to be red. Now, when you use a paint that's the same color as your stamp backing, you need to be a little bit careful that you actually get it well covered. It's a little bit harder to see. This red's a slightly different shade than the scarf on our snowman here. And then you simply take and you want to do a firm press. You don't want to wiggle too much, but unlike with paper, you can wiggle a little bit. And especially since your rock is curved, then, that's going to make a difference also as far as making sure that you get everything covered. And then when you lift, you want to lift straight up so that it doesn't smear. And there you have an image on your rock. Now, this one's a little bit mottled on the bottom here, and so it would be really super easy to get the red out of your paintbrush and then go ahead and take a little bit of your white and smear this around a little bit so that it's filled in. But this gives you a very quick and easy way to put an image on your rock. And because it's a stamped image, it doesn't have to be as solid as we normally do when we paint. Now, when you get extra paint in the holes of these stamps, then it can make it kind of glumpy. So I went ahead and filled his face in. And then remember when the 4th of July, you showed that you can use either the dotting tools or you can just use the back of anything round. And we can add a little bit of black to where his coal goes, and where his eyes and nose and mouth are. And so I'm just dipping the back of the brush in. That's a lot of paint. And doop, 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 doop. We've got a little mouth for him there. And there we go. So we've got a quick little image that's fun and ready for Christmas or winter time. And then because these stain, you do want to try to rinse them off rather quickly so that you don't have the acrylic paint staining your equipment here. Another little handy tool to use are these wonderful foamy brushes. Instead of the regular paint brushes, they will apply a thinner coat onto your work. And so I have prepared a little background here. Now, to get those spots on there to kind of look like snowfall, I just dipped my toothbrush, not my toothbrush, I dipped an old toothbrush into some paint, and then I flicked it on here over the sink or outside so that it didn't make a mess everywhere. It gives it kind of a snowy look. So another way to apply paint to these foam stamps is to take just a little bit and use one of these sponge brushes, and this will give it not quite as lumpy of a coating as the brush will. When I did the brush where the snowman's eyes and stuff were, I got quite a bit of paint in there, and it made it gloppy, and this won't do that. So the tree has some little swipes in the tree. Also, if you're working with a dark background like I chose here, you want to make sure you have quite a bit of paint on there so that it shows up well. Press that on here and give it a good solid press so that you get all of the edges down. Rock it just a little bit, but then when you lift it, make sure you lift it straight up. And there we go. There's a little Christmas tree, and I can take some of my paint pens and decorate that a little bit, so I will do that after it dries. I've gone ahead and washed this and dried this. I don't know if you know about this, but this is called pink soap, and you can find it in the artist section of some of your craft stores. This stuff is amazing at helping to get acrylic paint out of brushes and off of stamps and out of sponges. This is really great. A little on the pricey side, but I'm telling you, it's worth it because I have saved many a brush and stamp by using just a little bit of that. Put it in the palm of my hand and rub whatever I'm using onto the palm of my hand, and then rinse it off really well with warm water. You never want to use hot water on your brushes because it's not good for the ferrule glue. And makes the paint come right out of there. I love that. When you choose your rubber stamps, you want to make sure that you're choosing stamps that don't have a lot of really intricate design. There's quite a bit of intricacy in this Christmas ornament one that I chose, and especially since my rock isn't all that smooth, it didn't make a perfect image, I have to be honest, but it's still fun, and you can certainly tell what it is. And again, it gave me a great image that I can go through and then paint the, innards of it and show it. But I really love these outline stamps, and I know that a lot of you paint with a really colorful background and then put a black painting on top of it. Well, you can do that with your rubber stamps also. So I wanted to show you how to do that for these little Christmas carolers here. They're so cute. So I'm going to take and put just a little bit of black on here. I would use my palette, but the brush doesn't fit in there very well, so it's just a little bit easier to use a paper plate or some scratch paper, and then again, going to very gently paint on here, and you want, as thick a coat as you're able without making it too squishy on the sides, because it will make a mess. These little children singing Christmas carols are so cute. I love this stamp. And I found it on discount at one of the craft stores, so that makes it even more wonderful. Okay, and then again, I have not a perfectly flat rock, so I'm going to have to do some creative rolling here of my stamp. So I will set this here and start at the bottom and very carefully applying good pressure, roll it upward and keep rolling until I'm sure all of the stamp image has touched. And then lift it up. And there we have our little carolers in an outline. Isn't that cute? Lots of fun. So there are so many ways that you can use these rubber stamps to create the images onto your rocks. I absolutely love that. Now, another really great way to apply paint to rubber stamps, especially if you're going to be using the rubber stamps that are actually rubber, or if they have a little bit more of an intricate design to them, is if you take a little bit of paper towel, and I'll use a very small piece here, set your paper towel into a paper plate, and you put a couple of drops of your paint on top of the paper towel. Now, fold your paper towel in half, and the paint will start to seep through. And then as you press your stamp into there, it creates an acrylic rubber stamp pad. How fun is that?
Awesome.
And you want to make sure that you coat your stamp really well. Okay? And then you would, just like before. Now again, when you're paper stamping, they tell you don't rock your stamp. Don't rock it. It's very important. However, because you're working on a rounded surface of a rock, you do kind of want to make sure you rock it just a little bit, but when you lift it, you lift straight off, and there you have a little image on there. Isn't that fun? Okay, we'll set that aside to dry, and then I have one more that I wanted to do like this, and it has Santa on it. So I actually have some black here I'm going to reuse instead of wasting. So I'm going to put that on here, and then fold my paper in half. I have a fun little Santa stamp here and a rock that I prepared just like you taught us. And then I will dip this into the acrylic paint, and once again going to kind of start at the bottom and roll it upward a little bit, just because the rock's not flat. Give it a little rock, making sure you keep steady pressure on there, but then when you lift straight off, and there is an image of Santa, and that one turned out really well. The other one, I got a little bit of paint on there, but that's okay because I'm going to use the pens and color it in a little bit, and it'll be super fun, and you won't even notice that it's just a little bit gloppy. So now I get to Mod Podge these and then hide them for the elves. That'll be lots of fun. I'll show you pictures of these when I'm done, okay, Michelle?
Thank you so much, Mrs. Claus. We're really excited that you would show us today how to do stamping on rocks. I absolutely love that, and I can't wait to try it. And I'll make sure that I get Catalina her rocks back when I go to the next Quilt Rock Exchange.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Thanks so much for calling me, and I hope you have a really Merry Christmas, and I hope I get to see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. We here at Crafters Countdown would like to wish you a super Merry Christmas, a wonderful Happy Holiday, and I hope that you will join us and subscribe to this channel because we know that Jessica Kringle is working on her countdown for Christmas, and you don't want to miss any of those. She's got a special treat this year. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next year when we continue with our Kindness Rock Project rock painting series. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.